Hi guys, we're back. I know it's been a while. Ro, Nell, but a lot of life things have happened. Yeah, in between, and really good life things. So I get to plan a wedding.
Rose engaged.
Rose engaged. Yay! And so I'm super excited about that, super happy. If you keep seeing me do this, it's because I'm obsessed with that right there. So stay tuned for all that good stuff.
Are we gonna document stuff?
We should, shouldn't we? There's a good idea. I think we will document my wedding planning process, because that's probably going to be a mess.
She didn't ask me to help, but definitely I'm going to probably bogart my way into helping because I'm going to live vicariously through her.
Yes,
definitely.
She is going to do my makeup though, so like you'll
and I'm going to be in the wedding. Like I'm going to get a dress.
Okay.
She keeps trying to get me to do other things, and I keep telling her that's not happening. I'm going to like either be the maid of honor or bridesmaid.
Or she was going to sing while
that's not happening.
She has a little time to say yes. I believe in yes.
I'm not saying yes because it's not happening.
She's going to sing.
There's so many other people that is more than capable of doing that job, so it's a no.
You're
for
capable.
Me. It's the no for me.
Right. So the no's going to be a yes. Anyway, we're back at you with our truth unfiltered.
My truth not happening.
Excuse her. I think today we're going to talk about feeling like you're enough. So Chanel, like what is your definition of feeling like you're enough?
It's a lot because it takes, I think that when you come to the realization that everything about you is enough, it's after you've had some bumps in the road, it's after you've had a lot of challenges, it's after you tried to change, I won't say change your identity, but I will say that it's you've gone through some things. You've gone through insecurities, you've tried to conform to what social media says that how you should be or how you should look. And then there's a point in time where you're just like, okay, God, this is the way you made me and this is how I'm gonna stay. I ain't changing. And you become to embrace everything that God has gave you and how he's created you. I had the moment where I knew that I was enough, or I come to like everything about me, was when we were at a women's retreat. And I think Sister, I don't want to say her name. Can we say her name?
If you want.
Sister Roselle, she's so near and dear to my heart. She was telling us a story and she was saying how when she was younger, people used to tease her about her legs. And as we all, growing up, whether you're male or female, you have gotten teased about something that has now brought about insecurity of the very thing that you were teased about. Anyway, so she was just, talking to us about that. And then she said that one day she stumbled across a scripture that said that the scriptures in Psalms, and said, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And after that, it was like an aha moment for me, because I was like, wow, like God fearfully and wonderfully made me, and who am I to try to alter anything what he's done? Because if we know that God has done all things and he does all things well, and when he created me in the image of him, who am I to try to change that? And that's when I began to realize like everything that God gave me was enough.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, no, like, so this is a topic that I believe as women, everybody goes through. Like the insecurities of feeling like, man, I'm not enough. Or especially as Black women, because we go through so much from the public, society, people we know, family, and even like, especially, and I mean, I've been a victim of it, men of our own ethnicity.
Absolutely.
We are so compared to women of other ethnicities, like to the point where, okay, we're being seen as one angry black woman, or like maybe black men don't want to date black women because y'all talk back too much. You know, this woman isn't gonna do that for me to me, and this, that, and the other. You know,
or if I can interject, they put the Kim K's and the all these women that are like this. They put them on a higher pedestal because they have gotten everything that us black women were born with, like full lips, curves, and big butts, and all those things that we were naturally given. They put these women who have gotten these things themselves surgically altered on a pedestal as if that is the ideal woman, when it's not. Now, granted, some of us as black women, we do alter our appearance as well. I'm not gonna say that we don't, but I feel like if it wasn't for, now this is just me, I feel like if it wasn't for the Kim K's and the Khloe Kardashians and these other women who aren't black, if they didn't look the way that they look, we as a black woman, or black women in general, we wouldn't try to alter our appearance to match what they look like.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. I have nothing against Kim K or Khloe. You know, nothing against them. I like them. But yeah, we do have a guest. You aren't going to see her, but you will hear her, and she has something to say.
It's my mama. What you got to say?
When I was listening to you guys, and I was thinking how before it was the KKs and all the rest of them, people used to want to look like Marilyn Monroe. They used to do the mole. Or they wanted to look like Dolly Parton, forgive me. You know, full breasts. No, Dolly Parton, big chest sticking out.
That's natural. She naturally like that?
She's naturally like that. She's been like that ever since I know.
I don't think so. I think she got a little bit of something.
I don't think so. There's some Caucasians that are built up like Afro-American women. Who to say that they don't have some of that in them?
Well, we all came from the motherland.
Thank you. I think everybody should be happy with the way they're made, who they are.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
All right. That is my auntie's truth unfiltered. With me, I think my struggle with feeling like enough came real young. And it's not always about the other sex being attracted to you or you being attracted to whoever. It's not always like that. Sometimes it starts with your own family. And I think that's where mine started, was with my own family, right? And it's so weird. I grew up in a going to school. I grew up with people who always came from 2-parent households, and it was like weird to them that when it came to parent teacher day, all they saw was my mama. Like I've had teachers come up to me when I was younger and be like, "Oh, when are we ever gonna meet your dad?" I don't know what that man is, right? So and obviously I didn't say that. I'm just like, my mom's here. Like it's my mom. And that was enough. She did an amazing job, raising my brother and I. And I think the both of us have grown up to be very, very kind adults and responsible and respectable. And that's all my mama right there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, yo, I hate my dad or anything, but that is where my insecurity started, was right there. You know? I remember periods of times when he was in my life. But then I also remember the periods of times where I had no idea where he was. What's actually funny is Chanel here knew my dad.
Well, we didn't know her dad. He lived in the same neighborhood that I lived in. And we didn't know that was actually her father. Like, we would drive down the street and they would see him and it would just be highs, not knowing that this, later on the dots would connect to where we would begin to we started, how Rokai and I met is that we started going, I joined the church where Rokai, or my family joined the church where Rokai was a member at. And so I've known Rokai since what?
Mexico?
It was before Mexico.
Before Mexico? I think I was like 10.
Yeah, so about 10, not knowing that, you know, her father was literally
Her neighbor.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 houses down from us.
And at that time, at 10 years old, I hadn't seen my father since I was maybe like 5 or 6. Right? So, and so knowing, as growing up, knowing that, dude, you was right there. Like right there. And I can't drive at 5 or 6 years old. Like, I just didn't see you, or like what? But then, you know, finding out, oh, he had a whole family. That is what hurt. Like, It wasn't like, you know, oh, I just didn't keep in contact, or I didn't know where y'all were, or this, that, or other. It's, yo, you started a whole new family. And so coming to that realization as I'm getting older, from being a preteen to a teenager to now an adult, I went through so many different emotions and so many different periods where I was like, yo, my daddy didn't even want me. Like, so, you know, how is anybody else gonna want me? And that going through that has been one of my biggest struggles, and it is definitely something that I still work through every day. So I think this is just like I said, it's not just about love. It can start anywhere, and mine started with my own family.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
I don't have the same story as Ro, but I will tell you that insecurities for me did start at a young age. I think I was about, I want to say that I was about 7. I can't think. I was in 3rd grade. So however age that is. And I found out that I was adopted. And I think that, not that I didn't have parents that loved me, because my mother and father that raised me loved me to no end. But it's just that when you figure out why, as a young child, and you figure out why you were adopted and the reason why that parent couldn't be a parent, you begin to feel like, man, like, you couldn't stop doing what you was doing for me, you know? And I think that's where the insecurities for me started, not feeling like I wasn't enough, because if the woman who carried me couldn't stop doing what she was doing, you know, to keep me, or she couldn't stop what she was doing to, you know, raise me, again, like Rokai said, you begin to feel like, well, who's going to want me? And while we have those people in our lives, like I know that you had people, we had your grandfather to step up in that father figure role, and God bless me with parents, you know, that was in my life to be that mother and father for me. But it's still, because there is a biological connection that you still yearn from a person like you, that for Rokai helped create you, and for me it was a person who, you know, gave birth to me, and you begin to feel like you weren't enough because those significant people didn't, I'm not going to say didn't want you, but just wasn't capable of being the parent that you needed in that moment. But the great thing about it is that, and we try not to be very religious, and we try not to be like very churchy, but the great thing about it is that God knew that that would happen, and he put people in our lives that will love us unconditionally, that you wouldn't be able to tell that there was some, like for me, you weren't able to tell that those parents weren't parents who didn't birth me into this world. And I'm being very cautious because my mother is right here, and I don't want to say anything that will offend her or cause her to get upset with me. So I'm being very cautious.
Say what you want to say. It's unfiltered. You're 31 years old. I don't think there's anything now that you could say that will hurt me about that situation. There was a time that, yeah, it would hurt me, but now I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm very good. Yeah.
She is good.
That's kind of awkward, but yeah. So and that's kind of where, as far as my insecurity started, was at that moment when I found out that I was adopted. And again, this doesn't take any kind of love away from my mother and father who raised me. You know, they loved me enough, they gave me their last name. None of that stuff, you know, takes away from them, but it's just when you're biologically connected to someone and that person chooses to not be in your life for whatever reason, it just kind of feels like it just takes away from your worth, right?
Yeah, a little bit. And I will say this, because I do know, you know, my father's side of the family, it's not, you know, I don't dislike y'all. I don't hate them.
Yeah.
No, because a lot of times, you know, and I did, like, a lot of times, you're like, man, I hate my dad. I cannot even believe him. Like, why would you do whatever you did to my mama? Like, this is like, she has sacrificed so much, you know, to make sure me and my brother were good. All right? So much. And then to just kind of growing up, I just remember me and my brother would have these conversations like, man, we're gonna get mom a husband, we're gonna get somebody to take care of her, like, because she's always taking care of us. But girl, you know, as I grew up and I, you know, told my mom, girl, I'm good, I take care of myself. Man, that is a strong Black woman, right? And
shout out to you, Antoinette. Shout out to you,
Tony. And of course, like Chanel said, I did have, like, my grandfather step up and take that father role, you know, and he took it seriously, and I love and will always love him for that too. And then I also had my uncle, Vanessa's dad, my uncle Iman, man, he also stood up and took a big father role too, especially when it came to sports. For me. And so there were still people in my life, but like you said, there's that biological connection, like, yo, the other half of me, where you at, bro?
Because then you start to think about, like, dang, like, I'm this is something, like, I look this way, I wonder, does that person look like that? Or I have this feature, like, does this person have this? Does that person have this? At least that's what it was for me.
I mean, mine was just really, like, feeling wanted. And that's not to say, like, I did. There were periods of time. I remember when my father and I reconnected. It was at Hometown Buffet.
I remember.
Yeah, it was after a church service, and we went to Hometown Buffet, and we was in line, and I just see this guy. I always knew kind of what my dad looked like sort of. I kind of just knew, like, through pictures, like, all right, well, like, no matter how many years it's been, he should still probably look the same. I see this man in this wife beater, and I'm just like, I think that's my dad. And I had, pretty sure it was your sister. I think I had your sister just yell out my name just to see if he'd respond to it. And as my name was being yelled out, he turned around and was like, I'm your dad. And I see he has my name tattooed on his chest and everything. And that was real surreal in that moment, you know, like I was like, my dad, there's my dad. And, you know, I met his wife and everything that day, and for a while we were cool, we were good, you know. I got to see him every now and again and get to know his family and whatnot. And then I remember I was 13 and he was deported, like, so that was what I had, like, a year, maybe two, where I was really trying to get to know him as my dad, and then boom, he's gone. And I didn't talk to him again until I was well into college. So, it's real, and that's what I mean by saying, like, I've been dealing with this in groups and sessions all my life, even until now.
Yeah.
So, as far as like feeling like I was enough, and I will take my relationship, like getting into my relationship with my now fiance. That is so weird to
She a
say.
fiance.
Getting,
She a fiance.
I'm a fiance. Getting into that relationship, there was so many insecurities that I am just so grateful that he was patient enough with me, like, to let me work it out. And I definitely had people help me work it out. Shout out to my sponsor. Won't say her name, but you know who you is. I had to work through a lot, and I still, insecurities come up and different ways, and I'm still working through it. But now I know that I am enough for this man, right? And he's enough for me. So it's working out, and no matter what insecurities may come up down the line, I do know that at least I can trust that he will be supportive of me trying to work through them. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a big topic as far as women, and
because it's not just so much of a physical thing, right? It's not so much of an outer appearance, but it has everything to do with your heart, and it has everything to do with how you feel on the inside. And I think the first steps that you take of trying to understand that you are enough is that one of the things that I had to do is I had to look in the mirror every single day and tell myself that I was enough. Because like Rose said, like relationships sometimes take a lot out of you too, because it didn't work out, right? And for me, when I was in a relationship and it didn't work out, it feels like it depletes your worth. But that's not true at all. But at the moment when you're hurting because of a relationship that didn't work out in the way that you wanted to work out, you automatically think that there's something wrong with you. And that's the furthest from the truth. Yes, we have flaws. And yes, we may not say the right thing at the right time, or we may not always make the right decisions, but that doesn't take away from the worth that you are, or the worth that God has given you. One of my favorite scriptures is, and it says that God is within her and she shall not fail. And so again, I try not to be so like churchy or religious or just so like spiritual, but
she's very much the churchy one out of the two of us.
But that's what helped me to understand that I was enough. And it's no secret. I'm very transparent about, when I was just last year around this time, I was engaged to be married, trying to plan a wedding and all those, and it didn't work out. And just the depression and just the dark place that I went through. And it seemed like that because our relationship didn't work out, I kind of put it in my head that I was incapable of love, incapable of ever getting down the aisle. I was incapable of, just being into a healthy relationship, because not only did that relationship end for me, but there was other relationships that I had with other girlfriends that, just kind of ended as well. And so I began to think that not only was love something that I was incapable of having, but a healthy relationship with friends was also something that I was incapable of having too. But again, all that's out and over with. I don't feel like that anymore, praise God. But it's just, you just have to continue to work through all those things. Like Rose said, like you have to work through those insecurities. You have to work through, those uncertainties that you have, and understand that, God He gave you the heart that he gave you because that's the heart that he wanted you to have. He gave you the face that he gave you because that's the face that he wanted you to have. He gave you everything that he gave you, and there was a purpose behind everything that he gave you. And you have to accept that. And once you accept that that's the way that you are, that's when you begin to walk in you being enough. So
I would just add, as she was going through that and working through all that, I was humbly planning my revenge. And
stop it. She was like, do I need to bust some tires? Do I need to bust some windows?
I was ready. I was about to drive around that city. I will not name the city.
Stop.
I was really about to drive around it. I even asked her if I needed to put some laxatives in somebody's food, because I would have. Like, it just, it's my truth unfiltered. I was trying to plan my little revenge. You ain't about to hurt my sister and try to walk away. Please.
But being enough also, and walking in you being enough, you have to, there are some things some challenges that you have to go through to get you to that point where you're like, everything about me is enough.
I realized jail wasn't for me. I wasn't going to last. I couldn't go to jail.
Oh my God, bro.
I'm so glad you good, though.
Yeah, me too.
She's still going to sing at my wedding. I'm gonna put this out there that,
bro, I'm not singing.
Any of y'all that didn't heard her sing knows that she's very capable of doing what I'm asking her to do.
No,
there,
bro. What song is you want to sing? You want to be sung? See, no, absolutely not, bro.
But when I pick it, you're gonna have ample time to practice.
It's a disaster waiting to happen,
and it's gonna be a perfectly imperfect.
It's a disaster. I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know what kind of circus of a wedding she's trying to have, but I am not gonna be a part of that because I'm not.
What you trying to be? The oldest bridesmaid in my? No. Me. We gonna discuss, okay? We gonna discuss. We can't discuss in front of all these folk.
Okay. But anyway, Ro and I both have reminders. I think I got. I woke up one day. It was in February. It was right after Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. It's terrible for me. Okay. I really never. Now that I think about it, I really never had no man on Valentine's Day. Okay. Anyway, so,
you love me. Yeah, you have.
What man?
Your daddy.
Ooh. Okay. So my daddy and a man is two different things. Okay, unless I'm calling the man daddy, but since I'm not, then those are two different things. My daddy has slipped off a couple Valentine's Day. Okay, my daddy used. Let me tell you, my daddy used to. Like every Valentine's Day, I've gotten jewelry from Valentine's Day from my daddy. I got teddy bears and bags full of stuff for Valentine's Day from my daddy. And then I promise you, these last 3 years, my daddy didn't fell all the way off. And I told my daddy about that. Like, Dad, you fell all the way off with these gifts on Valentine's Day. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
She spoiled y'all.
That's not what we're talking about. My daddy said, well, what happens when you get a man? I say, I'm going to still get gifts from you. Like,
but you know who you did have the last 3 years? Your son.
And he always gets me stuff. He got me a gift and it says, Mommy is always, he goes, Mommy is pretty. And he put Prity. Don't come for my baby.
I love my nephew. We should have him on the show.
No, we should not.
Yeah, we should.
If he can make a facial, appearance. Hey, Bray.
Anyway, so back in February of this year, I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna tell you how I came about getting the tattoo, but I'm gonna tell you when I got the tattoo. So in February, I got the tattoo. I woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna get a tattoo that says I am enough. And because I just wanted a constant reminder to let me know, like, no matter what it is that I go through, no matter what circumstance, no matter who come and go out of my life, no matter what friend, and being enough is not always about, failed relationships with the opposite sex. It's understanding that you're
same sex.
Yeah, whatever you choose, whatever you prefer. It's not about that. It's just about a lifestyle and a mindset that you have to always walk in. Even at work, I have to realize that I'm enough. There was a point where I was the only female in my, in my job role, I was the only female. And so I had to walk in there with these men knowing that I was enough, knowing that I didn't get to that point of where I got to in my career because of me doing unethical things, but because of my smarts and my intelligence and my capability of doing the job. And so being enough also goes with that as well.
Show me that tattoo, bro.
Oh yeah, so this is my tattoo.
Isn't it
It's in
cute?
script and it's really tiny. It says, I am enough. And I got it, I think it was on a Thursday. And I was like, I'm going to get a tattoo.
I remember that text
And that's what I
message.
got.
She goes, I did it. Sends me I was like, I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, I just literally got off work. Then I got off work at 4:00. Went to the tattoo shop. Was like, yo, tap me up. She didn't want to take me. And I was like, it's really, really tiny. Like, it's only going to take you 5 minutes. Didn't know this chick's work. Didn't know what kind of tattoo she did or nothing.
That's faith.
Just said, yo, I'm about to go and get, like, do me. Have you seen Norman Freeman? And he'd be like, do me, do me. I say, do me, do it on. Show me yours, bro.
I also have a reminder. Mine says forever and always enough. So I got mine in Kansas. I was visiting a really good friend and I was bored at her job because she had to teach and I just had to like sit there and watch her teach. So I was like, yo, write out forever and always enough for me. So she did on a paper and now I have her handwriting tattooed on my forearm that says forever and always enough. It's pretty. I like the handwriting, right?
Let me see.
And it is a good reminder that, you know, even when I don't feel like enough, like, no, like, yo, you are enough. You will always be enough.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
Totally.
You got to be enough for yourself. Who cares what other people think?
Mm-hmm.
That's them.
And it's you being enough with understanding that you're enough within, like, with everything about you, that gives you that confidence that you need to walk into job interviews and get the job, for you to walk into places where you don't look or people don't look like you and be able to speak eloquently and and have a ton amount of class about you. And I mean, it's okay to have a little ratchet in there. You got to be classy because sometimes you got to let them know, yo, like, you ain't about to try me. And then
That's
those
new word.
classy and ratchet put together. Yeah. But
You know, even
at least I do sometimes. I gotta let them know in my emails. Per my last email,
oh Lord, she one of them.
if you have any questions, let me know. Chanel.
Yeah, in relationships too. I ended up in a interracial relationship. I am marrying a white man that I love with all my heart. And, you know,
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just growing up, you know, it is kind of seen that, you know, you'd kind of like go with your ethnicity, especially kind of where I'm from, but that ain't happening. That is okay because I love me some Christian.
And all of your black girl magic.
Oh my God, it is so funny.
Isn't
It
that
is
for him?
so funny, like us learning and figuring out how differently we grew up. It is so funny. Our house is hilarious.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else to say about being enough?
No, just it's something that you got to understand. And if you got to tell yourself every single day until you get it ingrained in you, when you go into any relationships, I don't care if it's with just female or male, platonic relationships, or I don't want to say intimate relationships, but, you know, romantic relationships. You got to understand that this person does not make you or break you. Like, you are enough with or without this person. And you got all this magic, you got all this queen magic, and if you leave that person or if they choose to stay, that queen magic's still gonna be there. It ain't going nowhere because it's there to stay. So that's all I got. You are enough, and you gotta walk in that.
Yeah, and to say this, I'm gonna give y'all a little something that my sponsor gave to me. That means y'all gotta start your day or end your day in the bathroom alone. You can light yourself a little candle and you stare at yourself and tell yourself you are enough. You tell yourself how much you love yourself. And if that means you got to apologize to yourself for whatever, because there have been countless times where I had to light that candle. I had to apologize to myself, and then I had to tell myself that I was enough. Like,
that's good, forgiving yourself.
Yes, and then to also forgive myself. So apologize and forgiveness.
And forgive the people that wronged you.
Yes.
Even without them saying sorry.
Yes, because
that contributes to you being enough.
And that only hurts yourself. Holding that grudge only hurts you. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for our special guest, Auntie Nancy, in the house. Even though you didn't see her, I wish y'all could. She's gorgeous.
Making a lot of faces.
So many faces. But that's what makes it fun.
And we got matching shirts. It just totally, she walked into the door and I said, I have that shirt too. Should I put it on? I just got mine on, when did we go to the Friday or
Mine
Saturday?
just came in on Thursday.
I just got mine last Saturday. Remember, because when we went to the hotel, I put it on. I know, but it was Saturday. I think I got it Saturday. So I got my shirt Saturday. So yeah, shout out to God is Dope. I get all my teas from them. This is not a sponsored video, but God is Dope if you're watching. We like your
You
shirts.
didn't sponsor your church. You didn't sponsor God is Dope. What else you got to sponsor?
Oh, my church is lit. What are you talking about?
Here we go. And thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and always remember you are enough.
Peace out.